Welcome back to ESA Summer 2021. I'm Gamero Says, good to see you again. Today we're raising money for Save the Children. Links to donate can be found below the stream, or you can just type in !donate right into the chat, and a little link will pop up. Click on that, put in your money, and do some good for Save the Children. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'd also like to thank Twitch and ViewSonic for sponsoring this event. Up next, it's time for Matse007. And they're going to be running the Skylar and Plux Adventure on Clover Island Any Percent Run. So take it away, Matse.
Thank you very much. I'm Matse007, and I'm gonna run Skylar and Plux Any Percent. I'm joined by a good friend of mine, and he's gonna introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Clover. Once upon a time, I also ran this game.
Alright. Is it Sonic? Is it Samus? What skin do we have? It's Sonic, I assume? Yep. Alright, so in that case, I'm already gonna go and load into the game. The timing starts once we move, so I'll give you a quick countdown, and then we start moving and start the timer. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Yes. All right. So this game, you already see a ton of jumping here, which you of course do in many 3D platformers. But the difference here is this game has bunny hopping if you're playing on PC with a keyboard. So bunny hopping is of course what many classic FPS games have, where if you keep jumping just as you hit the floor, the game sort of thinks you're still in the air and doesn't slow your momentum. And that combined with holding diagonals on the keyboard lets you keep gaining speed. So right here you see how the camera sort of shifted. So this is actually a cutscene, except you can move during it. And only this cutscene works this way intentionally, but we found a little bit of something that we will see later on. So this right here was just a short little tutorial. Very short in this case. Now we're going out into sort of strip of land leading up to the actual hub world that will lead into the main 3 levels of the game. So this is just very fast jumping. No reason to stop ever unless you have to. You hit something. And right there, you saw, you probably didn't see, but there's a checkpoint. And since it's the first checkpoint, it wants to teach you how checkpoints works. So by going just around it with the help of all this speed, you can entirely skip the cutscene and keep all your momentum. And right there, you might have seen a creature in a cage, which you need to save to unlock this door. No, you don't. You just go around here. So they put an invisible wall on the left side of the door, not the right. And it took an embarrassingly a long amount of time to actually find this out. Just like that. So now we're going into the first level of the game. So these levels are pretty big, except since they're all like connected like this, and you can sort of stand on almost any object, even if it's not in bounds strictly. We can climb very fast. So what you saw right there was a sort of piston that bumps you, and you can keep all that speed with bunny hopping. And now we collected our first gadget, which is very useful. It's called a Jetpack, and Matse will explain further.
I will gladly do so. So the Jetpack is one of 3 upgrades we get in the game. It's completely optional, but it's really fast to pick it up. It gives us the ability to do a high jump, as you see right here. It gives us the ability to glide, just as you see here, and we can also roll with it. And that's really convenient for the speedrun.
Yes. So, in particular, what we'll see right here, of course, it's a mountain, you need to climb. High jumps are very useful. We will also see later on how the glide... Ooh.
I'll take that. Other than just restarting.
Yeah.
We take those.
Nice that you got sent back up.
I mean, I can quickly explain the checkpoint system. So whenever you fall into like liquid or something, the game checks where was your last position where you stood still. And that was luckily out of buff. If I would have hit the ground, it would have been really bad.
Oh
Also-
yeah, that's true actually.
Also, this was all out of bounds, by the way.
Yeah. So this was skipping a huge path of going round and around several times, opening gates, everything. Instead we just jump. So yeah. This level, big vertical climb. It's a mountain, of course. But next level, which is way more flat, we will see a lot of the gliding function, where you sort of keep flying off your bunny hops and cross large gaps without barely touching the ground. And right when we get into here, it's gonna be very fast movement, but we will have time for maybe one donation right here.
Let's see. I just had a quick question. So the Samus and Sonic thing, you said that there's a mechanical difference between the two? What's the difference between...
That's not
Sonic
really
and-
mechanical difference, but it's more or less the hitbox, or well, not really hitbox, but the model size is different, and the head is really big for Sonic, which makes a lot of the jumps really awkward.
Oh, big head Sonic. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for donating to that incentive war, to that bid war. And even though you betrayed me, I still love you, chat. It's okay, because we've got other file name choices coming up. It looks like we've got for the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. Taskbot is currently in the lead, but way in the back we've got Lank, and Lunk. I think they can maybe make an appearance, maybe get up there in this in the standings a bit, because right now Taskbot is running away with it. We've also got the Mario Party 7 incentive that's still about $500 away from getting met, so get those donations in, everybody.
Right, so lots to explain that happened just there. So we picked up a time slow gadget that also lets you activate sort of pillars for puzzles. That's one thing. This is going to let us slow down the spinning platforms right here. Then we also had a thing where Matse was able to move during a cutscene, which was not intended. And it happens to be that the way you do that is just tab in and out of the game. Suddenly you can move. And Matse can explain how that was discovered.
Yeah, so I was streaming, and I decided, yeah, I have these cutscenes, they're kind of boring. What can I do in that time? Yeah, I can tap out, I can check Discord, because no one was writing in chat. So I tapped back in after tapping in the Discord, and I figured out I could move. It took a few months, but then we realized, yeah, you can just move in the game if you tap out and tap back in. And you can do things like this, and
yeah. And the only really scary part is, of course, that the camera does not move with you, and you will have some blind movement in these cutscenes right here. So this puzzle, the only puzzle that we do, so there's actually a lot of puzzle with this sort of time slow gadget and going back in time. This is the only one we have to do. It's a sliding block puzzle, as you see. And during each of these cutscenes, there's water pouring down, making this little tree grow back to its past size. Yeah, you can move during all the cutscenes. Get some as far as you can towards the next puzzle. Except each of these cutscenes gets progressively scarier to try to do. So already that one I'm really terrified of every time. And the final one is just crazy. To the point where we'll see if it happens.
yeah, the reason why it's so scary is because if you fall down and hit the liquid, and the game, the cutscene ends right about when you hit the liquid, the game puts your checkpoint right above the liquid, which means every time you respawn, you will take damage, and you will just die over and over again.
And right there you saw a sort of bridge that was there, and then it disappeared, because in the past it wasn't there. But thankfully the sort of time bubble expands slowly enough that you can get like one final jump in, and then just glide over to the final button there.
With that fixed camera movement during the cutscenes, how does the movement work with orientation? Like, if you press up, is it always up, or is it going to be left?
Yes! That was the final one. That's the hardest one. Yeah, so it's weird. It's like... Yeah, I think it's relative to where the camera is right now, but you have to sort of jiggle it loose first. So at first it's like every single direction just moves you forward where the character was facing when the cutscene started, sort of. Very strange.
Well done.
Right. So that was World 3, and as you can see, the village elder is still not out of their cage.
Yeah, it's not clowned.
And will never be.
Yeah. World 3. World 3, we're gonna see the roll finally being used from the jetpack. The roll actually has some really interesting properties. So, I'm not getting any B-hop. So, basically, the roll animation overrides different animation. Which means it also overrides staggering animation, which allows you to do this. The thing with, as I already previously mentioned, when you hit the liquid, the game checks the last known position where you stood still. If you just fly through the liquid and fall through it and hit the ground afterwards, it puts you out of bounds, which makes it possible that we skip things, and yeah, just like that.
Yeah. And right there, picked up the final gadget, which is a sort of magnet hand, which you can use for some stuff. Right there, this is called hammer skip, because you stand on this giant hammer. Pretty obvious. And it's sometimes you get it first time, sometimes it just refuses to work. And every time you get hit by the hammer, you hear this loud clanging noise, and it hurts your soul.
Yeah, and this is the skip I was most afraid of doing with Sonic, because it's much harder for me to line up. And I still got it relatively fast, which makes me happy. Yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah, gonna grab myself a safety checkpoint, because marathon safety.
Yeah. So right here, gonna go through another liquid plane, in this case lava. And, you know, if you have to do 2 of these damage boost things, and you have 3 max HP, yeah, if you're going for world record, you are going to be at 1 HP. Mandatory. It's really scary. Thankfully, you do get a fair bit of HP back quite soon afterwards. So here you see the magnet can activate platforms, and it can grab a hold of this ball right here. And it can also grab a hold of enemies, which we probably will not be seeing during the run. Thanks to a trick that is just coming up. So yeah, and also here we have a small trick, which is like brand new, as in from last week. Matse found a way to just not have to activate the big fan right there, and instead just jump like that. Ooh, scary. Nice. Here we have an out of bounds thing that is actually the only trick for this game that has ever had a monetary bounty. Is this?
This is fine.
Yes! Yes!
It's really hard to see.
Woo. Are we getting out of here?
Yeah, we are getting out of here.
Good. Yeah, all of this is just to skip going into a room with a bunch of enemies you have to kill to progress. Because there's 2 problems. I mean, first of all, you have to kill all the enemies. Second of all, when you go this fast, they're actually not spawning in time for when you reach the room. So you have to wait for them to spawn. And it becomes kind of a bottleneck, because the faster you go, the longer you have to wait. Or you can just do this.
It would have been faster by now to just go back inbounds.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to take this.
Once you're committed, you have no choice.
Well, you can clip back inbounds. But
oh, you can?
Yeah. You
Nice.
can grab the grappling hook node.
Right, so there, through the big metal ball onto a lava power generator thing, I think. And this makes it explode, and the lava starts rising up. Not really a huge problem when you've speedrun this game for thousands of hours. One little skip right here. If you ground pound into this big fan right there, it gets slightly more time of pushing you, so you get lots of momentum and can reach that final little swing node there. So this is another cutscene where you can't move, and the camera is pointed just away. But as you can hear, there is some fighting going on in the background. So the character that jumped out there is not the in-game character that is currently being controlled blindly. So this is just walking around in random directions and spamming buttons, and clearing out as much as you can. Which was a lot this time.
It's actually not random, but it feels very random.
Yeah. So yeah, take the orb, which was glowing white hot, and it turns out, oh, it was the final objective. Now we have the 3 fuses of power.
10 cutscenes, by the way.
Yep.
10 cutscenes in a row.
And now we're going to the final boss, and I have to explain stuff fast, so we have time to explain when time is coming up. So, the boss is going to have phases. You need to stun the boss by shooting a rocket back at it, and then it will take some amount of, damage and go back out into the second phase. Unless, if you use your time slow gadget, which actually slows down everything in the game, including the boss's stun duration. And if you're lucky, you can just absolutely spam attacks and kill it.
So time might be coming up soon.
So if the HP bar reaches 0 and the screen goes black, that's time.
Time!
Beautiful!
Well done. Crushing that estimate.
Woo!
Come on now, you big doof.
What time did I get?
Dunyan rings.
Looking at the final time right now, looks like we've got a 14:40.
Oh,
nice!
That's pretty good,
Well.
I'd say.
That beat my PB, I think.
Casual.
Yeah, and I did some major mistakes there. But yeah, thanks a lot everyone for joining, watching the stream. Much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this run. Thanks a lot, Klagan, for helping me with the commentary.
Absolutely.
Huge shoutouts and huge props to the community. Amazing people. If you are interested in running this game, and I highly recommend it because bee-hopping in this game is very addictive, join the Discord. There's a lot of resources, and it's also an amazing first Speed game. Sequel is also in the making. So, that's all that I gotta say. Thanks again for having me, and enjoy the rest of ESA and enjoy the next run, which is, I think, 101. I think it's from Tally.
Yeah, 102 Dalmatians. We've got that coming up right
Thank
after
you.
the break. Puppies to the rescue, all puppies %. So let's get going. Shout outs to Pup Time. Thank you very much, Matse, for that great showcase of speed. And name a more iconic duo than Skylar and Plux. Maybe Ratchet and Clank. We do have that PS5 bundle coming up. So donate $50 collectively throughout the duration of the marathon and get that in. So thank you very much, and we'll see everyone after the break with Tainted Tolly.